Hello and welcome to the Everyday Tarot Podcast, your deep dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille Saunders, your hallowed high priestess, tarot reader, and professional witch, and today I'm talking about a month ahead spread for May 2026. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every Monday morning to check out the latest episode. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. If you want to access the most up-to-date info on my upcoming events, presentations, musings, and info and photos of my day-to-day life, you can join my newsletter as a one-stop shop for all of those lovely things. I actually just published my own Hallowed High Priestess tarot spread that I use into a workbook, so you can try it out on your own. So I'll have the link below where you can grab that, and that will put you on my newsletter list. If you want the spread and you don't want my newsletter long term, that's okay too. That's fine. you can unsubscribe after you get the spread if that's really what you want. I made it into a 5-page kind of detailed workbook talking about my ideas for the spread, what the spread looks like. It's a 5-card reading, and then a lot of the questions. Or if you'd like, you can get a 5-card tarot reading from me if you don't want to do it on your own, and you can go ahead and book that. I'll have the link for my Hallowed High Priestess tarot readings in the show notes as well. If you're interested or know someone that might be a good fit to be a guest on the podcast, you can fill out my form that's linked in the show notes, and I will read that through and get back to you about whether I think will be a good fit to be on the podcast. I'm doing guest episodes, publishing them about once a month. I need a guest every month. I think I'm a couple months recorded right now. I actually just did one this morning for June. So, would love to chat with you coming up. If you want to join me in a different way, I am doing new moon gatherings and a tarot reading during that gathering every month. And you can check that out in the Queer Joy Coven. So you'll get access to upcoming events and past recordings. There's also lots of other great things within the coven itself. I did the New Moon and Aries gathering a couple weeks ago, and that was very fun. And so our next one's coming up on May 16th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're listening to this now, go ahead and you can sign up for that, the Queer Joy Coven, to see us live at the next New Moon gathering. Or if you're unable to attend live, you can always get the past recordings as well. And finally, you can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on Patreon, in addition to the images of the cards that I pull and sort of the full blog for each episode. All right, so let's get into it. Today, I am discussing a month ahead spread for May 2026. So this spread I pulled, I'm looking at it over here, from Inner Goddess. Let me find the blog name, innergoddesstarot.com. So they have a tarot spread that's called Time to Blossom, a tarot spread for the month of May. They published this in April of 2021, so a few years old now, but of course you can always use month ahead spreads even in the future. This one is specific to May because it has this theme of blossoming and nurturing. That's a bit more of the kind of like springtime energy, but you can always just search month ahead spreads or check out, I do one every month and I try to use a different spread every month, so you can check out prior episodes from the last 4 months of this year where I did month ahead spreads, and it's a fun thing to do at the beginning of the month. This is from innergoddesstarot.com. I'll have the link in the show notes if you want to go look at the actual imagery. Her name's Lori Little, Inner Goddess Tarot. She talks about May is a hopeful month, bursting with new life, green leaves, and miraculous blossoms that seem to appear from nowhere. At this time of year, we feel the promise of life, of growth, and our ability to reinvent ourselves, to stretch towards new possibilities and desires. It's a wonderful time to plant the seeds of our intentions, trusting that they will blossom and flourish. It says, in the month of May, we dare to dream that spring is really here, life prevails, and love and beauty reign supreme. She says, I like to do a special tarot spread at the start of each month. Me too. And this month, they said they created one specifically for the month of May. This year, we may need extra hope, beauty, flowers, leaves, life, and we can find that in the cards. So you can check out like the image for the spread. I think even you can like download it on her website as well. So this is going to be a 4-card spread. So go ahead and grab your decks now and start shuffling if you're going to do this alongside me. If not, you can always listen, of course. You can watch on YouTube or Spotify, and coming soon on Apple Podcasts. Apple is, I think, next week publishing the update so that podcasts can upload videos now on Apple Podcasts. So that will be great. And yeah, and if not, if you're listening to it, you're driving or something, you want to look at the spread later, you again can always look at the link in the show notes if you want to go to their website, or you can go to the Patreon where I have free information about each episode. And I also have tiers where you can support the podcast financially for a small amount every month to get extra perks as well. So that is kind of where you can find things. So again, get your deck. I've shuffled mine. I'm going to split it in half because that's what I like to do. And we're going to pull 4 cards. So the first card goes up top. I pulled a reversal, and then 2, 3, 4 go in a line horizontally. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 across the middle from left to right. 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, I got like all pentacles on 2, 3, 4. And the first card I pulled is the Knight of Cups reverse, which actually I pulled recently. I've seen this one a lot recently. So the Knight of Cups. So for card number 1, our question is going to be, this is the main theme for the month ahead. And I did pull the Knight of Cups in reverse. So this tarot deck I'm using is the Snag Tarot deck. Again, you can find the link in the show notes if you want to check it out. I will put the image of the card that I pulled on the screen so you can take a look at it as I talk about it. I'm scrolling in it has a digital guidebook, which is, I thought it would be annoying, but actually it's kind of great since I normally, of course, I'm like doing tarot for the podcast on my computer, recording it and everything. So actually I just leave the PDF open because I'm looking at it all the time right now. This is my like go-to tarot deck right now. So again, the Knight of Cups. So in the image we see a woman with braids. She looks like a knight sitting on horseback. She has a flag that has a fish on it. So we have this sort of like Pisces, right? Cups energy for the fish. Since cups are the water affiliation through tarot. In the background, it's sort of purpley and swirly. It's a little like moody, I would say. We have like dark greens, purple, sort of aquamarine, some navy-esque colors. And the horse that she's sitting horseback on looks very pretty. It has like beautiful combed curly blue hair, which is kind of amazing. So upright, they talk about that this card's about romance, idealism, emotional pursuit, following the heart. So again, you're kind of holding that flag for the cups, for Pisces energy, for water. Cups are all about emotion, and kind of, the wateriness, the fluidity of our emotions. So they say their take on this card. So within the deck guidebook itself, they say the Knight of Cups follows feeling over logic. This can be powerful, especially when it leads you towards something meaningful. It can raise questions about balance. Are you seeing things as they are or as you hope they will be? This card invites you to honor your emotions while staying grounded enough to act on them in a way that is sustainable. And that feels very apt for me. So again, sometimes the Knight's cards, they're a very active card, right? They're about following orders, sort of, right? We think of sort of a medieval society. The knights are being sent out by the king or queen's orders. They're going out and they're sort of enacting whatever they have been told to do. But this one's really about, right, that they're actually using their intuition, their feelings to guide their quest. It's interesting. It talks about balance and seeing, sort of, we get that like illusionary aspect that sometimes comes along with Pisces, for sure, of like, oh, we're seeing everything maybe like optimistically or as we hope it would be, instead of maybe what it actually is. So again, the final statement on the card says, this card invites you to honor your emotions while staying grounded enough to act on them in a way that is sustainable. So there's a lot about like balance and sustainability as well as you like pursue your quest. So we have this idealism, but then also it's like, okay, well, what can I do in reality? I'm going to quickly look up what the Knight of Cups reversed generally is about, right? I would think like sort of perhaps, yeah, there's like emotional instability or kind of like false promises, something kind of not really going right, some insincerity. The Knight on the card, at least in this particular one, like sometimes the Knight is depicted as a like a charmer, who's maybe, it says, who disappears after a conquest, someone who avoids difficult or necessary conversations. And I don't really get that energy from this particular like take on the card. Mostly just because she looks sort of like solemn or composed as they like go forward. I think the horse looks like a charmer, sort of. The horse is what draws my attention a lot more, and then I kind of go to the flag in the background. But yeah, so I would say the main theme of this month, as it's saying, like for me, for our month ahead, collectively, is sort of like, okay, look around in your life and see what's a place where we maybe need to tune into our intuition a bit more, to not just follow the rules, but think about why we're doing it. Look around, see if we are, right? A lot of springtime energy is like exciting. It's planting seeds, literally or metaphorically. It's like starting new projects. But this is all about like, okay, as you do that, like be realistic about what you can actually take on. Sometimes we get all of these ideas, especially as we're in Taurus season right now. So Taurus is the more grounded energy, but right, we just came out of Aries season that's all about ideas and excitement and kind of like seeking out a lot of things and creativity, and Taurus brings us a bit more grounded. And again, that Taurus season will continue as we go through until about halfway through the month, slightly over halfway through the month of May. So honoring your emotions while staying grounded, right? So we have the cups aspect with the Taurus energy. I guess the other thing on this card is there's a bunch of green plants, which is pretty, I think they're in most of the Knights or the Cups cards in this deck. Yeah, there's green throughout. Sometimes it's the plants that are green. Sometimes it's other things, but there's like a pop of green on almost all of these Cups cards. All right, let's go back to our prompts and look at card 2. So what is about to blossom for me? And like I said, all of the rest of the cards are pentacles, and I have an 8 of Pentacles, a Queen, and a 7. So, and they're all upright actually. So we have a lot of grounding things, which again makes sense. We're in Taurus season, we're in springtime. All of these cards are framed with a green usually there's like a rectangle that frames the card image itself within the tarot card. And all of those are green in the cards that I pulled. So what is about to blossom for me? This is where I pulled the Eight of Pentacles. So I'm going to scroll through my snag PDF here to talk about the Eight of Pentacles. So it sort of depicts a sledgehammer or a hammer and nails. We have all the pentacles. We have, again, green plants. We have red flowers. And then a purpley aquamarine background. So this deck says the traditional meaning of the Eight of Pentacles is skill development, dedication, craftsmanship, focused work. So again, that's where we get this like hammer and nails. Represents learning through practice and repetition. And they say their take on this card is the Eight of Pentacles highlights commitment to your craft, whatever that may be. It can point to focused effort, learning, and the quiet work of improvement. This card values process over perfection. It's about showing up consistently, even when progress feels slow. It may also ask whether your labor is being fairly recognized and rewarded. So that is what we're thinking about this month. We're committing to the craft. And again, I think this makes a lot of sense as we talk about sort of the Taurus energy of it all. It's like, what are we committing to? What are we doing? What's this new thing that we have on the horizon or that we're working on right now? And then how do we stay dedicated to it? Because it's one thing to have the idea and to do a first thing, and then it's a whole other thing to keep up with the consistency of it all. So for me, I'm thinking about, I just started a different YouTube channel. So I have a podcast. I have this YouTube channel where I show the podcast. I have another YouTube channel called Rain or Shine Farm. If you want to check it out, I just posted my first video over there as I'm recording this. So at the end of April, 2026. Because I'm going to show garden content. So if you're a gardener, if you're into that, or you want to see some more springtime stuff, you can check out that YouTube channel. Post that like this week. So that's what I'm thinking about. This is what's blossoming to me. This is something I'm starting, and then I'm going to, stay committed to, at least for a bit. I'm going to put out weekly videos just like I do here. And I've been filming lots of content. So that's been very fun. So that's what I'm thinking about. So maybe something in your life is blossoming there. Let's go on to the next card. So for card 3, we have what needs nurturing in my life. And this is where I pulled the Queen of Pentacles. So immediately when I look at this card, I'm like, ooh, it's very like mother, fertility imagery. We see someone like holding a child. There's also like a bunny rabbit. She's looking down and holding a pentacle or like a coin, as the pentacles are often depicted in front of her. So something's kind of like materializing, I would say. Something in the material world. I'm trying to find this card. Okay, I have not pulled this one before. So traditionally this is about nurturing, practicality, resourcefulness, care for home, and material well-being. And they say their take on this card is that the Queen of Pentacles represents grounded care, supporting yourself and others in practical, tangible ways. It can point to creating stability, managing resources, offering care that is both emotional and material. This card also asks you to extend the same care to yourself, recognizing that you cannot sustain others without sustaining yourself. So that is the thing that needs nurturing in my life, is sustaining ourselves, right? A lot of us do caretaking work of some kind or caretaking in other aspects of our life, not in our work. And sometimes it can be hard when it feels like no one is doing that for us. But my encouragement would be to say, actually, it's your job to take care of you first. And to perhaps set boundaries with other people or encourage them to take care of themselves. Not that you can't help, but again, that like supporting yourself in practical material ways. You can't sustain others without sustaining yourself. And again, I don't think that you need to self-care yourself just so you can serve others. I think we just mean it can feel a lot easier to do caretaking for others and to feel really good about that. And then sometimes we get resentful because it feels like no one does that for us. And to me, that's usually a sign with myself when I work with clients in therapy practice that you're giving too much to others, right? If that resentment is coming up. And actually, that means you need to give less to other people. And sometimes, again, that means like letting go of perhaps some control or enabling other people and allow them to figure out how to do it on their own, because they're never going to figure it out either unless they practice it and are sort of forced to deal with it. And again, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't take care of anyone or that there's anything kind of like wrong with that, but I think it's okay to be what some of us were taught is like the ultimate evil, which is selfish. I'm using like air quotes to myself because I'm like, well, it's not really selfish to take care of yourself. Okay, and then our last card is what can I dare to dream? And this was the thing that really pulled me into this particular spread. Usually I just search month ahead spread. Sometimes I've started saving them so that I can like have some references for the future, because obviously you could do the same monthly spread every month. This one is sort of springtime, like I said, specific, but of course, like you could still have things blossoming metaphorically in your life in December, or you could have things that you're nurturing in August. Like it doesn't, that's not really part of it, but I really like this, like what can I dare to dream? So for that I pulled the 7 of Pentacles card. So like I said before, we had the 8, now we're back to the 7. So traditionally, this card's about patience, long-term investment, assessment of progress, reflects waiting for results after sustained effort. And they say their take on this through this deck is the 7 of Pentacles asks you to pause and take stock. It can point to a moment of reflection to consider whether the time, energy, or resources you've invested are leading where you want to go. This card invites patience, but not passivity. If something isn't growing, it may be time to adjust your approach or to invest elsewhere. And that feels very apt for the conversations I've been having and thinking about in the last week. Sometimes when things aren't working, sometimes waiting is necessary, or things just take a while. I've definitely learned this in business to sort of like pay off. Like you don't usually get immediate results, but sometimes that means that we sort of, like passively wait for things to get better without doing anything differently, or without maybe creating kind of the next plan or thing going on for yourself, or the next possibility for bringing in more income, or, spending less time or energy on something. So this card's really calling us of like, no, we are like pausing for a moment and we are reflecting. We are taking stock and we're going to actually think about like the data, right? Go look at your finances. Go look at your calendar. Go look at your quarterly, annual plans for the year, for your business or for your life, or for what you want to, for school, for what you want to do, and actually check in about it. How has it gone this year? How we're, this is May. We're a month away from being halfway through 2026. Like, how are things going for yourself personally, for your goals, for the things you're working on? And this doesn't mean that you need to be doing more, but right, we're taking stock. Because actually, I would say usually reflecting, at least when I do it, I'm reflecting on, okay, yeah, what doesn't feel worth it? Or what is the thing that I want to stop doing? Or what's a challenge I have for myself to do or to not do for the next 30 days. And so this card, again, it says it invites patience, but not passivity, right? We can be patient. We can wait for things to pay off when we have set them up really well. But we don't always do that. I don't always do that, I'll say. Maybe you do. But this is a great time to reflect. And maybe not, doesn't feel like a natural time to reflect, but again, it says it might be time to adjust your approach or invest elsewhere. And again, pentacles are about money, finances in general, like our material world, the things, the tangible things, the things you can touch and see, whether those are objects, whether that's again your garden or the schooling you're doing, or the hours you're working per week. Like, those are all things that be tracked in this way, and we're assessing right now, right? That doesn't mean you need to do anything yet, but we're assessing. We're looking at the data and making some conclusions from it. And then we will make the plans about what that means for the future. So you can dare to dream in the space of long-term investment, right? We can have patience. Maybe some things are going really well, and that's great. And this is saying, right, like, this is a great time to like pivot if things aren't going the way you want, or if I'm thinking of someone right now who in the last week just had sort of a revelation about their business, and they're going to step back from it for a bit because they have a lot of other things going on, at different ways they want to be spending their time and energy and resources, and like, that's okay. Assessing is ideally sort of a like emotionally neutral process, in that we're looking at the data, we're sort of trying to have an open mind about it and be curious, instead of using that data to like fuel our emotional state, or to tell us whether we're doing well or not, or whether, financially we're doing well or not. Like, those are obviously other markers of things, but they're not the only thing. So again, maybe there's something that's like, yeah, this is great money, but it's burning me out, and I won't be able to keep doing this in this way for very much longer, right? I think that's also a theme of this moment in time. I will say this last week, those are the conversations I feel like I've been having with people, and even with my own things as well. All right, well, that is our 4-card tarot spread for the month ahead for May. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, in the show notes, you can check out the deck I used, the tarot spread I used this time. You can go do it on your own. You can look at the images that I pulled. But I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for the day. I'm going to be pulling from my Dirt Gems Plant Oracle deck. It's beautiful. I've been loving the Snag Tarot lately. That's been my go-to, but it feels nice to do an oracle card, I guess, for the end of our pull here. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I pulled a card in reverse. This deck does not really do reversals, but I pulled Damiana, which I'll put up on the screen. But yeah, I pulled Damiana in reverse. So I'm going to look at what Damiana says, and we can try to interpret what a reversal means here. So Damiana is called the tingle maker. Damiana is a romantic. It sees us in our most intimate moments. We smell their perfume, a call to sensuality and slow play. Damiana is expansive and cellular. They elongate the quiet in us until the gasp, scream, moan, or whisper must come out. Damiana slows so that the building, lengthening, and softening can happen. Damiana is a dream traveler. It is a friend of mugwort. They help you integrate the disparate parts of your life by expanding your memory, deepening your dream state, and carrying these dreams to you in the morning. If you find your days running faster than you can keep up with, ask Damiana to join the race, and they will set your pace at a meaningful and luxurious gait, aka slow you down, right? Damiana is your friend if you live in your head. They bring both energy and spirit down into your pelvis, into the earth. Damiana will allow femme energy to rise and spread. They hold your center in the root and base of your body so that you can open, stretch out, and lean into things without feeling untethered. Damiana has an affinity with the pituitary gland, which invited in, they allow the messaging throughout your body to happen more clearly. Damiana lubricates and tones the organs of your pelvis, allowing for more movement, more creativity, and more connection. The pelvis, the bowl of our body, is where all the blood and energy pass through as it circulates. If left unattended or out of balance, this is the place where much congestion and stagnancy can occur. Damiana says, slide down into the languid and divine. And I love the image on this card because it's got like a lot of movement to it. I'll put it on the screen, but we see the plant in the foreground, some leaves on it, a 5-petaled flower. Looks pretty, I would say, like nondescript, like, yep, looks like a flower. Then we see sort of, I guess, what to me looks like a window, and the window seemingly is open because we see these long curtains sort of look like they're flowing in the wind, and then the plant is kind of like in the middle of them. And the plant itself looks like it's reaching toward the window. So with all of that, again, yeah, I get the movement, I get the like sensuality, the slow play, and Damiana as a plant, they're talking about like sort of like loosens you up, thinks about just like mugwort, kind of like expands parts of your mind, which can carry into our dream world. Mugwort also, as well, as a thing that people will take to kind of like have more vivid literal dreams at night. It's interesting to me that we had this kind of at the end of the spread, the last question, right, was what can I dare to dream? And then we have this card that's about like literal dreaming, right? So perhaps look to your dreams in the next day, a week, this month, because we might find interesting things there. And I actually have a dream oracle deck, so maybe I will use that in an episode this month as well, to see what it has to share with us. It's actually like, it's a deck where, I mean, you can pull a card like you would normally do, but it has like basically like objects or things that you would see in a dream, and then like the symbolism that perhaps is going on with if you have those in your dream. So you could use it like, oh, I had a dream about a dog and a barn and a Damiana flower, and you could look through the deck to try to find things that are similar to that, to see what that might be about. All right, and again, that was the Dirt Gems Plant Oracle Deck and Guidebook by Anne Louise Burdett, illustrated by Chelsea Granger, and the Snag Tarot deck that I used earlier is by the founder of Snag Tights, Bree, and art by Sophie, and you can find those in the show notes, the links to those. All right, just a reminder that in 2026, I'm doing weekly episodes published on Monday mornings. I'm having guest episodes about once a month. Every episode is recorded on video, which you can watch on Spotify and YouTube, and hopefully soon Apple Podcasts. Otherwise, the audio is wherever you get your podcasts under Everyday Tarot. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the podcast, you can fill out my inquiry form, and I will reach out to you about that. Links for the decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on Patreon if you want to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Tune in every Monday morning to check out the latest episode. You can always email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com, with your thoughts, questions, and more. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.